Let's take you to Kathmandu now. At least 13 people have been killed and dozens injured in the Nepali capital during a protest against the government's decision to block dozens of social media platforms. Police fired tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse protesters, calling themselves Gen Z. A curfew has been declared in parts of the city. The government last week ordering the blocking of social media. Now that includes Facebook, YouTube and X for not complying with a deadline to register with the Ministry of Communication. With me is our South Asia editor, Ambarasan Etharajan. It's turned violent on the streets of Kathmandu. What's been happening?
There were some extraordinary scenes in the streets of Kathmandu this morning when thousands of young people calling themselves as Gen Z, they held a march towards the Parliament building against the government's decision to ban various social media accounts last week because the government wants them to be registered, and they accuse the companies of not meeting the deadline for registration. They want a local contact, like a grievance officer, a liaison officer, to be set up inside Kathmandu so that they can handle hate speech, fake news and online fraud. However, millions of people, more than 50% of Nepal's 30 million population, they use various social media platforms to communicate with their friends, family, for news and business. So they are angry that the government has suddenly blocked this vital means of communication because more than 80% of the country's internet traffic is coming through social media. So it's a huge loss for the internet service providers as well.
And Ambarasan, does the anger go deeper than that? Because when you look at some of the placards that they're holding, it's end to corruption, enough is enough. Are there other things brewing there that people are upset about too?
I spoke to some people in Kathmandu this morning. This seems to be a wider anti-government sentiment at the moment because it is not only about the social media ban. There was also bubbling anger against what they call as nepotism, corruption and mismanagement and the political instability. And then this has given a platform for them to express their anger and their views. But people are worried about what is going to happen in the next few days because some are accusing the government of using excessive force. We are talking about so many people killed, and the hospital authorities have told BBC Nepali service that some of the injured people are in a critical condition, so the numbers are going to go up. And is it going to trigger wider anger? Because what we saw, small protests like what happened in Bangladesh and in Sri Lanka, where it turned into a massive uprising overthrowing the government. But the government says it regrets the deaths, what happened, and they're going to have another meeting later today to find out ways to diffuse the situation.
And the government is also saying this is not an attempt by them to actually ban social media. They just want to bring these companies in line with Nepali law.
That's what they are arguing, and they are also pointing out to what happened in neighboring India or Pakistan, where the governments, again, the social media companies say India tops the list of countries asking posts on social media to be taken down, whereas the critics would say this is the way how the governments are trying to control free speech on social media because that's the only platform nowadays for ordinary people to express their anger or views on anything happening inside the country.
Really interesting. Ambarasan, thank you so much.